in the tower! Hi everyone, I'm Sandrine, this is Americ.
Hello.
Welcome to new Game of Thrones review. This week's episode was called
Oathbreaker.
Let's talk about it. Starting with Sam and Gilly, who are on a boat, not going to Old Town as we expected, but going to Hornhill.
Clearly, Sam still doesn't know what happened with Jon.
No.
Yeah, but he is still intent on protecting Gilly and the kid, his son now. Every time I see that character, I'm just like, that character is just too good. You know, you don't last when you're too good in this series. I'm just saying.
Are you predicting he's gonna die this season?
No, I don't think so. I think there's really more to Sam that needs to be told. I think there's more potential with that character. So no, I'm not willing to predict Sam's demise this season.
Moving on to Tommen.
If I'm predicting someone to die, look, Tommen is being so manipulated. It's not even funny.
Yeah.
But I felt like last time when he was speaking to his mom, I felt like there was some sort of breakthrough and that Cersei had sort of regained control of Tommen, but clearly not. Unless this is a ploy from her to have Tommen look vulnerable and have the Grant Sparrow.
I wouldn't put it past her, but Tommen is too sweet. I think what really disturbs me with the High Sparrow is that he's all like pretending to be nice, and he's like, yeah, you know, the gods, blah, 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 blah. I'm such an old man, and it's like, but I will put you in prison and make you walk naked in the streets.
It's easy for us to think, especially because this is Game of Thrones, that he has a hidden agenda. It's all about power for him.
Oh, I don't think it's a hidden agenda.
But, I mean, I don't know. I didn't used to think that, but this season I'm having my doubts. Because he's displaying more the traits of someone who wants power. Now, I don't know if it's legit. I don't know if this is all an act or anything. I don't think it is, but there's doubt in my mind.
I don't think he wants power. I think he's just doing the right thing. Like, I think he wants just the gods to have power and he serves the gods, which is why it's scarier than if he was like, I just want power. He's a believer.
He believes.
Moving on to Daenerys, who has made her way to Vaes, Dothrak.
Yeah. Clearly having a bit of a tough time getting introduced to the colleagues, so to speak. It was not as bad as I thought it was going to be. I think, you know, with the trailer, we thought it was going to be some dramatic thing. But at this stage, it's really actually putting a lot of other things in play because, you know, the group is like, hey, girl, what's up? You know, you should have actually come, like, right after your homeboy died. The fact that you didn't, it's against the rules. So we're going to have to see about all that. And then I'm thinking to myself, you know she has dragons, right?
It's like have you met Drogon?
Have you met Drogon?
I don't think he's going to be happy that you took his mommy.
You know what I'm thinking? Here's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking they're going to string us along this season until Drogon comes. And for some reason, I expect the Dothraki to kneel to her. So that would be a way for her to raise another army. It's possible.
It is possible.
It is very, very possible.
I just expected Drogon to come sooner than like end of season because it just looks the way he's flying over.
I think mid-season. Episode 5, 6.
Arya!
AKA Daredevil Jr.
yeah, she's really getting on with that Daredevil training. She's getting good, right?
At some point when Arya was having the conversation with the Waif and they were going over the list, and I know we're going to talk about that, but I said, is there no one else who's on the list? And I'm like thinking, now you're on the list now, girl, because you've been,
No, she's not. When she was asking, is there no one else on the list? I thought she was more saying like, are you gonna serve the god now? You know.
I do think that
we're gonna put people on the list.
Yeah, I do think that's a very real possibility. But I think the Waif has some hidden agenda, personal agenda against Arya. I really do, and it's possible that she's trying to prove. See, she's not really a believer like I am, you know. But clearly, Arya is a favorite. Yeah, she's a favorite. Yeah. But back to the list, though.
Yeah, so
that list was short, right?
Yeah, she only had 3 names, or at least it seemed like she was only revealing 3 names, which was Cersei, Gregor Clegane, Walder Frey. You know, but it should be at the top of the list. I think the other ones that were on her list weren't as high. I think from season 4, there were 3 more people that were on her list, and that was the Red Woman, Melisandre, Beric Dondarrion, and Thoros of Myr. Now, of course, she's just kind of mad at all 3 of them because they took Gendry away. So maybe she let go of that whole thing, but I was just curious. I was like, that list went down to 3 people.
So I'm not sure if the list went down or if this was editing, right? So because they were cutting in and out of scenes, in and out of the conversation. We didn't know if we had the full conversation, so I don't know if it was the list is shortened or it's actually just was...
They're just highlighting the big ones.
Highlighting the big ones.
These are the people who will die this season, people. Hint, 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 hint. Well, Walder Frey, it's possible he will die because of Ramsay. Cersei, well, we have to wait for Tommen to die. But since you think Tommen's gonna die this season, then it's very likely Cersei could die this season.
Tommen is a goner for sure, in my opinion. But yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see what Daredevil Arya does.
Actually, she's not Daredevil anymore.
Why?
Because she got her sight back.
That's true. I like Daredevil. Arya.
It's like, all right.
She will always be Daredevil Arya to me.
If she's already Daredevil blind, can you imagine how crazy good she'll be now that she can see and fighting? Tyrion and Vaes. Now, Vaes got his little birds to do their jobs, and they figured out who was helping the Sons of the Harpies, and turns out they're not really in Meereen for now, because, they're in Meereen.
So clearly Tyrion is looking at this in the most efficient and logical manner. He knows that 3 powerful group of people who are after them is not a good situation to be in. So he's thinking, can I find a way to sort of talk my way through this? Because he's a good talker, he knows how to negotiate, and he knows how to, find and broker solutions. So I trust him for that. But in this particular situation, and especially in light of the upcoming scene in the next episode, he's gonna also have to contend with the people of Meereen who are like, you're not Daenerys. You're not necessarily the person who's gonna handle this. So they are gonna ask, where is she? What's the dealio here? So it's possible that while he's looking for a solution with these outside forces, he's probably also gonna have to contend with the inside forces who are questioning their presence altogether.
Moving on to the Tower of Joy. Game of Thrones giveth.
Game of Thrones taketh away.
Seriously!
I know a lot of people were expecting that scene would lead us to find out the lineage of Jon Snow. Maybe that he is the son of Ned Stark's sister, and that this would be the scene where it would all be revealed. But we didn't quite see the whole scene. We just saw the beginning.
We did see the inside of the tower. At the beginning of the episode, the previews, previously on Game of Thrones, they did kind of talk about Lyanna Stark and Rhaegar Targaryen, and they kind of hinted at that was important for you to remember that we talked about this before, but they didn't really give us anything in this episode specifically. So,
but the fight between Arthur
Dayne was amazing.
Yeah, it was really, really, really good, and I was like, yep. Ned's gotta go, but it was interesting because we know he's not gonna go.
Well, no, he's not gonna go.
But
he's gonna go later.
I was just curious to see how it was gonna be resolved. But yeah, it's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
And at that moment, you hear the baby crying.
Was it a baby crying?
It was a baby crying.
Or was it I thought so? I was like, is it a baby crying, or was it a woman crying?
No, it felt like it sounded like a baby.
Do you think it's a baby?
Yeah, I thought it was a baby.
I thought it was a baby.
It sounded
too.
like John. It sounded like Jon.
I could tell. I remember his cry.
Winter's coming. Yeah, I heard that.
Yeah. Well, if it's a baby, then it's leaning towards, why would there be a baby? Why would you, just saying.
Yeah. It was.
I think they're hinting. I think they're being guys,
I know.
It's happening. It's happening.
With the 3-eyed raven saying, you can't stay too long. Sorry,
you
man.
knew. By the way, I totally called it at the beginning of the flashback. I was like, they're totally going to be you can't stay in too long, just as it's going to get interesting, of course.
Know.
I did think it was interesting that the 3-eyed raven is telling Bran, you need to know everything, and yet he won't let him know everything. I'm like, just let him.
Make up your mind.
Moving on to Ramsay. I think a few people called that the gift from the Umbers was going to be Rickon. Fortunately, you're right. And they freaking killed Shaggy Dog too. What is up with killing all the dire wolves? Like, literally, there are only 2 left.
Yeah, this is not gonna be good. Ramsay is like the worst place you want to be at.
It was hinted that he was already maybe gonna go after Jon Snow or towards like the wall and all of that. And now that he has Rickon.
Yeah. I'm worried. He's probably gonna use Rickon as, leverage. Against
that's the problem
against Jon if he thinks Jon is going to come his way. But I don't know. The fact that pretty much everybody knows that he just killed his dad and they're like, yeah, he got poisoned, right, cool story, bro. But they're not showing any loyalty or fealty to him. So his time is really counted. Like if he survives at the end of this season, I'd be really surprised. Really surprised.
Though. He might. And then, of course, we get to Jon Snow, who's alive. He seems normal.
Seems like
himself.
He does seem traumatized.
Actually, that's like the saddest thing where he's just like, oh my God, I remember that you guys killed me. Like, I tried to do right by you. I tried to save you and you guys freaking killed me. And then Ollie... Also, which I'm sure a lot of you are excited that he decided to kill Ollie
bit
too.
it, yo. Ollie bit it. And he went out without saying a word.
Yeah.
Like a man! But, Alistair Thorne, also just stood his ground and said, if I had to do it again, I'd try to do it again. Yeah, I did what I had to do. So I think everyone respected him for that. But what really shocked me was, in the end, Jon is like, mic drop. I'm out.
Well, I think we kind of expected that because the point is he died, so now he doesn't have to stay. That was the whole point, that he can now move on to his next destiny, right? Because we were like, well, how the hell is he going to get out of this? Because he's supposed to be with the Night's Watch the whole time. This whole time he's alive, but he's dead, so he doesn't have to stay.
His watch.
Can I just say how much I love the hugs between him and Tormund and him and Ed? It's just like...
This is what I have to work with. This, seriously.
Oh, come on, that was really good.
It was cute.
It was cute?
It was cute.
It was very beautiful. I also have to talk about Melisandre, who, like, when she came in the room and she's like, holy shit, I did it! Oh my God, it worked? This is amazing. She's like, okay, well, maybe I was wrong about Stannis. But hear me out. There has to be someone, so maybe that someone is you. I guess she's starting to climb back on her little like Lord of Lights train.
Oh, she's back on that bandwagon for sure. It's gonna be interesting to see if they keep working together, right? Because they could develop a relationship, priest to resurrectee kind of relationship, whereas Jon is like, hey.
Well, he is leaving, so is she gonna go with him?
She's not gonna stay at Castle Black for sure. So I think she's definitely gonna leave. Is she gonna leave with him? It's gonna be interesting. But I do think that Jon, if he is leaving, he is probably gonna leave with the Wildlings.
Well, yeah, what are they gonna do there?
Yeah, exactly.
And Ghost, Ghost coming too.
Ghost is always gonna be there. But where are they going? South. They're going south. I'm just putting it out there.
Well, they are. Well, yeah, they're not gonna go north. Overall, really good episode, of course. Not as crazy as last week,
not
obviously,
as crazy as last.
But still,
stories moving along. Slowly but surely.
Yeah.
We're just still things gonna... We don't know. We don't know how it's gonna pan out, but that's what we thought of this episode. What did you think of this episode? Comment below and let us know.
When do you think we're gonna find out about the Tower of Joy? Inside.
What's in the tower?
What's in the tower?
What's in the tower?
Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any of our Game of Thrones reviews. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you soon.
Bye.
Wasn't your favorite scene like when the mountain comes and then you have Pycelle who's like turns around and it's like...
I know he farted. I forgot.
It's like this little...
Fart jokes, guys. This is what happens. I can't work like this.